Hello, my friend, and welcome to Unlocked English. I'm so happy that you're here today. Maybe you're walking somewhere. Maybe you're sitting at home with your headphones. Or maybe you're drinking a cup of tea and just listening. Wherever you are, I want you to feel relaxed, calm, and proud of yourself. Because listening to English, even slowly and simply like this, is a big step. It shows that you care about learning and that you haven't given up. And that's something to celebrate. You know, when I started learning English, I was not confident at all. I could understand a lot of things. I could watch videos. I could read some articles. I could follow conversations. But when someone talked to me and I had to answer, my mind just stopped. Everything I knew suddenly disappeared. It felt like I was trying to find words inside a dark room. They were there somewhere, but I couldn't reach them. Maybe you felt that too. Maybe you think, why can I understand, but I can't speak? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I still remember one of the first times I tried to speak English with a real person. I was walking in my city one afternoon when a tourist came to me. He looked lost and asked for help. He said, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the train station?" And I froze. I understood everything, but my tongue didn't move. I wanted to help him. I wanted to speak, but fear came first. Then I thought, okay, if I don't try now, I'll never try. So I said slowly, go straight, then left. It wasn't perfect, but he smiled and said, thank you. And that small moment changed something inside me. I realized I didn't need to be perfect to communicate. I just needed to be brave. Learning English is not only about grammar and vocabulary. It's about courage, patience, and kindness to yourself. Sometimes we think, I must speak like a native speaker. But that's not true. You just need to speak like you, because your goal is to connect, not to impress. You don't have to sound like anyone else. You just have to sound like a real person who is trying, and that's already beautiful. When I think about why it's easy to understand but hard to speak, I like to compare it to music. Imagine you listen to piano music every day. You know how it sounds, you can recognize songs, and maybe you can even imagine playing. But if someone puts you in front of a piano and says, now play, your fingers won't know what to do. Understanding something doesn't mean your body and brain can produce it yet. Speaking English works the same way. Your ears understand the rhythm, but your mouth still needs practice to move in that rhythm. It's not about intelligence, it's about repetition. When I realized this, I changed how I practice. Instead of just reading and listening, I started speaking. Even when I was alone, I would describe my day out loud. I'm making breakfast. The coffee smells good. I feel a little sleepy but happy. At first, it felt strange, but soon it became fun. My brain started connecting English words with real actions and feelings. And slowly, I stopped translating from my language. I began thinking in English, just a little bit at a time. And that changed everything. Maybe you think talking to yourself sounds silly, but it's one of the best ways to grow. Because when you speak alone, there's no fear of mistakes, no pressure. You can be free. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes to speak with others later. You don't need special tools or a perfect environment. You can do it while walking, cleaning, cooking, or looking in the mirror. English doesn't have to stay inside books. It can live in your everyday moments. Sometimes I ask myself questions in English just to keep my brain active. Things like, what I want to eat today, or how am I feeling right now? and then I'd answer slowly. It's like having a friendly chat with myself. Try it. Ask yourself, what did I do today? Then answer, I woke up late. I made some tea. I watched a video. Simple sentences like these help you stay connected to the language. You see, learning a language is like building a bridge between two worlds, your world and the English speaking world. At first, the bridge is small and weak. You have to cross it carefully. But every time you practice, every word you say, you make that bridge stronger. One day, you'll walk across it without even thinking. Of course, there are days when learning feels hard. There are moments when you think, I'll never speak fluently. I felt that too. I remember sitting in my room, listening to podcasts in English, and feeling like everyone else was smarter than me. But later, I realized they just practiced longer. They didn't give up. So whenever you feel tired or hopeless, remind yourself it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Small steps every day lead to big changes. Sometimes we think we're not improving because we can't see progress. But progress in language learning is quiet and invisible. It grows slowly inside you. One day, you'll realize you just understood a movie without subtitles, or you joined a conversation without fear. That's when you'll see how far you've come. I often tell my students, don't study English, live English. What I mean by that? Well, don't only sit with a book. Make English a part of your life. Change your phone settings to English. Read short posts. Listen to music lyrics. Watch something simple without translation. It's okay if you don't understand every word. The goal is not to understand everything. It's to feel comfortable around the language. When English becomes familiar, speaking becomes natural. You might ask, but what if I make mistakes? And I'll tell you, good, that means you're learning. Mistakes are not the enemy. They're your teachers. Every mistake you make is proof that you're trying. When a baby learns to walk, they fall many times, but they never stop because they don't think falling means failure. They think it means progress. You should think the same way with English. Every wrong sentence brings you closer to the right one. Sometimes people ask me, what's the best way to learn English quickly? And I smile because the truth is there's no magic trick. There's no secret formula. The best way is the one that makes you happy. If you like music, use songs. If you like movies, use movies. If you like stories, read short ones aloud. The more you enjoy the process, the faster you'll grow. The moment you love English, it will love you back. I remember a funny story. When I was learning English, I used to talk to my plants in English. I had a small cactus on my desk, and every morning I said, "Good morning, little cactus. How are you today?" Of course, it never answered, but that small habit made me start every day with a smile and some speaking practice. And over time, it really made a difference. It taught me that language doesn't have to be serious or heavy. It can be light, joyful, and part of your daily rhythm. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you spoke English out loud? Even just for a minute? Maybe it's been a while. Maybe you only think in English, but you don't let the words leave your mouth. If that's true, I want you to promise me something. After this episode, find a quiet place and say just one sentence out loud. Maybe something like, I'm learning English and I'm proud of myself. Say it slowly, clearly with confidence. Feel the words. That's how you start changing from understanding to speaking. When you speak, don't focus on grammar. Focus on connection. Focus on meaning. You can fix grammar later. For now, your goal is to train your mouth and your confidence. Every time you speak, you send a message to your brain. I can do this. And the brain listens. That's how habits are built, through repetition and emotion. Sometimes I speak slowly, even now, just to enjoy the sound of English. It helps me relax. Try it. Speak slowly like we're talking right now. Don't rush. Every word has power. When you slow down, you can hear yourself better, and your brain can process what you say. That's why this podcast uses slow English. It's not only easy to understand, it's also a model for calm communication. I want you to imagine something. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. You're in a cafe, sitting with a friend, and suddenly you're speaking English without fear. You don't stop to think about every word. It just comes out naturally. You're smiling. You're not perfect, but you're communicating. And that's the goal. Every word you say today brings that moment closer. I sometimes think learning a language is like growing a tree. You plant the seed when you start. At first, nothing happens. You water it, you wait, you doubt. But one day, you see a small green leaf. That's progress. And if you keep going, that tree will grow strong. Maybe people will look at it and say, wow, that's amazing. But only you know how much patience it took. So don't stop watering your English. Even small practice counts. And remember, you're not alone. Everyone who learns a new language goes through the same struggles. Even native speakers make mistakes. The only difference is they're not afraid of them. You can learn to be that brave too. Start with small conversations. Say hello, ask questions, reply with short answers. It doesn't matter if it's simple. What matters is that you use your English. I believe in you. I know you can do it, because if I could go from silence to speaking, so can you. I wasn't born in an English-speaking country. I had the same fears, the same doubts, the same empty moments when I couldn't find words. But I kept going. And one day, I realized that my voice, even with mistakes, was enough. Yours is enough too. So take a deep breath, smile. You're already speaking more than you think. Even listening to this podcast is part of your speaking journey. You're training your mind, your ears, your heart. Every second you spend here is a step forward. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you feel encouraged and calm. Remember, English is not a wall, it's a door. You already have the key. You just need to turn it slowly with patience and love. One day soon, you'll step through it with confidence. Until then, keep speaking, keep smiling, and keep unlocking your English.